Hi,
So,
Stephanie.
hi Nicola, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. It's wonderful to see you. I'm just so impressed with your accent. I can't believe that you used to speak Afrikaans still, or you still can.
I can. Do you know, it's very interesting. I actually did a bit of a study into it because when I lived in London, my accent wasn't quite as British, and I moved to Derbyshire where I live now. So it's a tiny village in England, and immediately people used to refer to me as the immigrant. In London, they never did that. And so over time, my accent went away and I never understood why. And then once I listened to an article that talked about slang, and they said that slang is saying you're part of a group. And I wondered whether accents were the same, whether because I was being picked out as the immigrant, somewhere subconsciously my accent changed. I don't know. I'll never know really.
Wow, that's amazing. It makes a lot of sense.
It's
So, will
very
you just
interesting.
tell everyone else, because I know your name and your work. What do you do? I think you're in HR, you said. Maybe just tell them a little bit. You've mentioned already where you stay, but maybe a little bit more
Sure.
about you.
Sure. So I'm Steph. I moved from South Africa to the UK when I was 18 or 19, I beg your pardon. And I was only ever going to be short term, but as it turned out, I loved it here and I stayed. And I moved, I don't know if my screen's going to disappear. Let me know if it does. So for the last 13 and a half years, we've lived in Derbyshire, which is in East Midlands, and it's a small little village where I live. So for us, lockdowns, well, as you say, yes, I work in HR as well. So I'm a HR manager for a company that develops retirement villages. So lockdown for us has been really interesting. We've been in lockdown now for about 5 weeks, and it, I've still been able to work, which is a blessing and a curse because both my husband and I are working full time, but my daughter, who's 3, is at home with us. So it's the combination of Katie can't see her friends anymore. She can see us, but we can't pay attention to her because we're working. And so for her, it's been really difficult because she's old enough to understand that she can't see the people she loves, but she's not old enough to understand why. And
Yeah,
that's been really tricky. It's been really tricky to make her understand, but also to make it bearable for her.
yeah,
So work-wise, it's been tricky as well. I'd say the first couple of weeks, the first week was probably the hardest because psychologically, you didn't quite know where you were. You didn't quite know how to deal with the situation, what to do, what not to do. And so that was really difficult. And I think because I'm in HR, after the first week, I was able to say, okay, this is what I need to do. I need to help other people. I need to make it bearable for them. And so for me, that was a saving grace because all of a sudden I had a focus.
yeah,
So immediately at work, I started putting in place resources on agile working, how to keep your mental health, how to keep good mental health during this time frame, exercises you can do. We developed e-learning modules, and so that for me was brilliant because all of a sudden I could go back to helping people and to adding value to other people. Then we also, in the UK, we have a job retention scheme. So people who aren't able to work can claim money back from the government. And we have about 50% of our workforce who are on that scheme. For me, it's really important that they remain connected with the organisation and then that they stay in good mental health, because I think all of a sudden you're cut away from your loved ones and your work, and then that can be really difficult. So I've had me and my team work very closely with those individuals to make sure that we stay in contact with them, whether it's a phone call, whether it's making them aware of the resources available to them. And the impact of that's been really positive as well.
yeah. Sure, that sounds so interesting. And then you personally, I mean, how are you coping as an individual? And then specifically, you've mentioned your daughter. So how are you keeping her spirits up? I think you guys are able to go walking and you're still able to buy some wine.
Yeah, yes, that's a big thing. I'm not going to lie. So definitely, I think my alcohol consumption has gone up, not down. So I'm able to take Katie out once a day for exercise, but we're also able to buy essentials. And because I live in a small village, I'm very fortunate in that we have a village shop not far from our house, so probably it's not half a mile. So I'd say maybe half a kilometre. So either Katie and I walk there maybe once or twice a week, or I put her in the pushchair and I'll push her there. And it's really great for her to then be outside. And there's another route from my house, again, it's not half a mile, which is a little stream. So I'll take her out and we'll pretend that we're on a bear hunt. Or we've had a couple of days where she's come into the room and declared that it's her birthday. So I thought, okay, I've got to go with this. So we've baked birthday cakes and put on birthday dresses, and it's so I try and do little things like that to keep her really excited. And aside from that, I don't think you get Amazon in South Africa, but you take a lot, I think.
Yeah.
So what I do is I stagger gifts, and I obviously we don't know when they'll arrive, but I'll have little parcels be delivered to her. So whether it's a hula hoop or a My Little Pony, so that over time she has things to keep her excited, and so that's really
idea.
We've got. It's been brilliant. It's been really nice. But her attention span's still relatively short, so you know we can colour for 10 minutes or play a game for 10 minutes, and then she's had enough. But by doing that in intervals throughout the day, it means that I've got times where I can focus on work and have her watch Frozen. I think the Disney subscription channel is doing very well out of most people right now. But then she knows that the time we do spend together is quality time. And since realizing, so Katie started associating my screen, so whether it's my laptop or my mobile phone, with me not paying attention to her, she really loathes, I say loathes, me using them on them with her. So I try and make sure that when I spend time with her, I put my screens to one side. So I point as well message my boss and say, you know, for the next hour, I'm not available. And just make sure that he gets those chunks of time so that the rest is more manageable.
That's a very good idea. Yeah, no, my 3 and 4-year-old boys as well don't really understand this. And if I take any quiet time, they come in and ask me, Mommy, are you done? Can we play with you? Shame. But yeah. And then just one last question. Do you have a positive message that you just want to share with others? I think you've shared already a lot of other things that you're doing as an HR manager, but maybe just something on a positive note that you want to say to other human beings around the world. People are very stressed over this time. People are feeling a bit like it's Armageddon. It's like the Great Depression type feeling. What would you say to lift people's spirits?
You know, for me, the one thing that's stayed in my mind, there's been a couple of things, but one in particular was that when I speak to my team, I make a point of not telling them that I'm doing really well all of the time. Because number one, it's not true. And number two, by me saying so, I think might make them think, hang on a minute, if she's coping so well with it, why aren't I? What's wrong with me? So there are times, and I've been very honest with them, where I phoned my boss in tears and I said to him, please don't fire me, you know, when I know he won't. But I think, so the one thing is to acknowledge that we all have these ups and downs, and it's a completely natural reaction to a very, very strange situation. But the other would be, and it links to that, is that we genuinely are all in this together. You know, we're all going through these waves of uncertainty. We're all going through times we've never experienced, and I hope to goodness never have to again. And so to remember that, to remember the emotion that I'm feeling right now, someone else either is or has felt. It's not just me. It's not something I have to be worried about. And actually, we're all in this together. We'll all get out of it together. And that's what I keep reminding myself of when I do go through tricky times.
Wow, I love that. Thanks so much, Stephanie. That's really awesome. I remember you as Stephanie. You're Steph now.
It's only because I realised when I was older that my mum misspelled my name. So here, everyone thinks I'm a boy. I think it's because it's the French of Stefan, isn't it? So I thought I'll just shorten it to Steph. That way, no one has to guess my gender when I'm on the phone.
Oh, wow. Okay. Thanks so much. It was so lovely talking to you.
And you, good luck with your project. It's so exciting.